All right, welcome students. We're going to be solving 1 and 2 step equations. To start off, we're going to talk about some terminology to get us ready for this lesson. On the left side, we're going to talk about inverse operations. So, the inverse you can think of as another word for the opposite. So our first question is, what is the opposite of addition? That would be subtraction. What is the opposite of subtraction? That would be addition. What is the opposite of multiplication? That would be division. What is the opposite of division? That would be multiplication. What is the opposite of adding 4? Okay, so just to make sure that we're all on the same page, the opposite of adding 4 would be to subtract by 4. The opposite of subtracting by 6 would be to add 6. The opposite of multiplying something by 3 would be to divide by 3. And lastly, the opposite of dividing something by 12 would be to multiply by 12. Okay, so let's get started. On your journal, you are going to break up your page into 4 sections like so. So you're basically going to make a huge T in your journal and do one problem in each square. Okay, so starting on the top left. To start off, I'm going to draw a line in between my equal sign so that I know I have 2 sides. The left side reads n minus 9 and the right side reads negative 13. The whole goal to solving is to get the variable by itself, which in this case, my variable is m. My goal is to get m equals a number at the end. And to do that, I'm going to use inverse operations to get anything surrounding the m on the left side to the other side so that it is alone. So right now, I need to get rid of this negative 9, okay? The inverse of negative 9 would be to add 9. If I add 9 to one side, I have to add 9 to the other side to keep my equation balanced. Okay, so anytime I do something to the left, I also need to do it to the right. Okay, so now I have the m comes down. Negative 9 plus 9 equals 0, so they are gone. So now I have just m by itself equals negative 13 plus 9 is negative 4. So my answer is m equals negative 4. All right. The next one, I'm going to draw my line to separate my equation. My goal is to get p by itself. So next to the p I have, or surrounding the p, I have a positive 3. I need to move it to the other side by doing the inverse, which would be to subtract by 3. I subtract 3 to both sides. 3 minus 3 is 0, so they're gone. The p comes down, and it's positive. We don't really need that plus next to it. It's improper to write it. Equals 8 minus 3 would be 5, so p equals 5. Okay, next one. I have 14 times b equals negative 56. Okay, this is multiplication, and we need to know that's important. Okay, so my goal is to get b by itself. To get b by itself, the undoing of multiplying by 4 would be to divide by 14, not 4. 14 divided by 14 is 1. So I have 1b equals negative 56 divided by 14 is negative 4. And you can leave your answer as 1b if you would like, or just b equals negative 4. They're both correct, just this one is more proper because we don't really put the 1 in front of the b because there's only one of them. Okay, and then lastly, I have v divided by 8 equals 2. We're going to try to get v by itself. To do that, I need to multiply both sides by 8, since this 8 right here is being divided. If I multiply 8 on the left, I also need to multiply 8 on the right. 8 divided by 8 is going to be 1. So I get 1v, or just v, equals 2 times times 8 is 16. So v equals 16. All right. The second part to this lesson is going to be two-step equations. So above we just did one step, so we either added, subtracted, or we multiplied or divide. Now we're going to have two steps. So on our first step, we're going to add or subtract the constant that's on the same side of the variable. And on the second step, we're going to multiply or divide, but we don't change the sign that's given to us. So on our first example, I draw the line to separate my two equations. I'm solving for x. So the first thing I'm going to do is add or subtract. I have a positive 5, so to do the opposite, I would be subtracting 5 on both sides. So the 2x comes down. Positive 5 minus 5 is 0, so that's gone. Equals 12 minus 5 is 7. Okay, now I multiply or divide. I'm going to divide this 2, since the 2 is multiplying the x to both sides. 2 divided by 2 is 1x, or just x, equals 7 over 2, and we can leave it as a fraction like that. All right, and then my last example, I'm solving for x again. I have my two sides. On the left side I have 4 minus 3x, and on the right side I have 16. I have a positive 4, I need to get rid of it by subtracting by 4 onto both sides. 4 minus 4 is 0, so it's gone. Now I need to bring down this 3x, and what's important is that we don't forget to bring this negative down with it. So I have a negative 3x that came down. Equals 16 minus 4 is 12. And now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3, since that negative 3 is multiplying the x. So I divide both sides by negative 3. Negative 3 divided by 3 is 1x, or just x, equals 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. So x equals negative 4 is my answer. And that's it.